Excuse me. My name is Anne O'Connor and I'm the head of the Disability and Learning Support Service at Dublin City University. You're very welcome joining us for our talk tonight. So for tonight, it's quite a brief talk, and so I will be taking you through the main points of what the DARE Disability Access Route to Education is, how you can apply, and also what type of supports that there are available in college for students, both with a disability and without a disability. So firstly, what is DARE? Some of you may be aware of DARE. So Disability Access Route to Education is an admissions route for students that have a disability or have a specific learning difficulty or have a mental health difficulty or autism or are blind, and it has impacted on their education so that they have had to work harder than their peers when they're in school, that perhaps they've missed school, perhaps they've missed appointments due to medical appointments, perhaps they become overwhelmed and they've had to leave class. So DARE acknowledges the fact that these students have had to work harder than their peers and that they may have struggled in areas that their peers have not struggled. And so it enables the student to come into college and university within Ireland on reduced CAO points. So who can apply for DARE? So DARE is available to students with a disability or with students with autism or autistic, including Asperger's syndrome, students with ADD or ADHD, so attention deficit disorder or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, students who are blind or sight loss, students who are deaf or hard of hearing, students with developmental coordination disorder, DCD or dyspraxia, also open to students with mental health conditions such as anxiety, depression, eating disorders. Also students with neurological conditions, including brain injury, epilepsy, narcolepsy, chronic migraines, students with a speech and language communication disorder, and also students with significant ongoing illness. Now, this is a huge category. We call it SOI for short. This can include students with heart conditions such as POTS, also includes students with chronic asthma, students with Crohn's disease, students with diabetes type 1, any medical condition that is impacted on that young person throughout their education, being able to get to school, as I said earlier, missing school because of medical appointments. Sometimes applicants will apply under this if perhaps they become unwell during the Leaving Cert year, perhaps they've got glandular fever or perhaps they've got the flu. Unfortunately, they're not considered a disability. They're not significant and ongoing. They are an illness, and obviously the young person may be very sick for a period of time in sixth year, but that is not eligible under DARE unless there's some long ongoing issues arising from that condition. Such things like glandular fever and the flu would not be eligible under significant ongoing illness for DARE. Students with a physical disability, so our students who are wheelchair users, students with cerebral palsy, students with a back injury, back disorder, students with issues with their arms or their legs can apply for DARE as well. And then our largest category is our students with specific learning difficulties such as dyslexia and dyscalculia. So they're the range. Now, if your young person has a condition and we haven't mentioned it here or it's not on the website on accesscollege.ie, don't worry. We don't list all the conditions that are out there. So if your young person does have a condition that has been impacting on them attending school, concentration throughout their schooling, still apply to DARE and provide the necessary documentation. So what do you need to be eligible for DARE? So there's two main parts to DARE. You need to show that there has been educational impact, and I'll speak a little bit about that in a moment, about what you need to prove that. But this shows that the young person has missed school, it does take them longer to do their homework, has missed out on activities that their peers have been able to do because of that medical condition or because of dyslexia or ADHD. It also needs to show that there's evidence of disability. So this is evidence you provide from a consultant or from a psychiatrist or from a psychologist, which confirms their diagnosis and how it's impacted on them. If the young person provides both of these, so if they show that there's been impact and they provide the necessary evidence of disability, then they will be eligible for DARE. This means they can compete for a place under DARE. It's just because they're eligible for DARE does not guarantee them a CAO offer. What it does mean is that we will consider them for the CAO reduced point offers. So just bear that in mind, that just because they're eligible for DARE does not guarantee that they will have a place. So there are 3 steps to the application process for DARE, and this is done on the CAO through your application when you set it up for the college. You only have to apply once to the CAO, and it covers all the colleges and universities that are in DARE. So this is, as I said, it's a national scheme within Ireland, and all the colleges within the Republic of Ireland are covered by DARE. You only need to apply once, even if you're applying to multiple colleges. The first section is online. It's called Section A, and you must apply, set up your CAO account by the 1st of February, and you must say yes to question 1 within DARE. So you'll see when you go online to the CAO that there's a section to say, I have a disability or a specific learning difficulty. It brings you into the DARE form, and this is where you start. You say what disability you have, and you also say yes to question 1. You must say you want to be in DARE. The next section is that impact statement I was talking about, that this is actually filled out by the student in the school. So all the schools in Ireland are very much aware of DARE. They do this on a regular basis, and they will know what that impact statement is. You can download it yourself and get it filled out with them. They can download it for you. But the student in the school fill this out, and this is where they note there's been challenges. Perhaps they have missed school because of different diagnosis. And as I said, the young person and the school fill this out. Now, some schools take ownership of this and they fill it out for you, and then they send it on to the CAO. I'd really strongly recommend that you take control of that. This is your application or your young person's application, and stuff can happen in schools. We've had it over the years where a teacher has had all the applications together and for a personal reason was unable to submit them all. So please, I would strongly recommend that you get the school to fill this out with your young person, and then you take it back, keep the original, and send a copy into the CAO by the 15th of March. So you must set up that account by February the 1st. You must say yes to question 1. Then you must get your evidence, your impact statement in by the 15th of March. Post it into the CAO. The final section is also very, very important, and this is where you provide evidence confirming your diagnosis. Depending on the condition, it will depend on what evidence you need. So, for example, our students' mental health difficulties require evidence from a psychiatrist, not a psychologist. Our students with ongoing illnesses will require evidence from a consultant, not your GP. Though your GP can verify it, there must be evidence from a consultant. So please have a look on accesscollege.ie, and it goes down into each individual category and confirms what evidence you're going to need. If you have multiple conditions, put them all in. Absolutely fine. If your young person has 2, 3 conditions, tick all the boxes, provide all the evidence. And then post those copies also into the CAO by the 15th of March. So everything needs to be into the CAO by the 15th of March, into Galway. Proof of postage is really, really important. It sounds very simple, but it means if you submit documentation to the CAO and if it goes missing, you can then prove that you did post the documents in on time, and then you'll be allowed to resubmit those documents. Without that proof of postage, if the documents go missing and you've missed the deadline, then you will be out of the DARE process. So all this information is available on accesscollege.ie. There's a handbook there. A lot of the schools would have the handbooks as well, that they can take you through all the steps that you need to do. So in relation to how DARE works, as I mentioned on the first slide, it is an admissions route that acknowledges the fact that students with a disability or medical condition or ADHD or dyslexia have had to work harder. So students can get in on reduced points. How much point reduction differs from college to college. So while we all agree nationally who's eligible for DARE, how much point reduction we give does differ from college to college. So if you want to know about a specific program in a specific college, the best thing to do is either check out their website or contact the disability service within that university or college. They're not going to tell you exactly how much point reduction they give, because we can't tell you, because year on year it changes. We don't have a set amount. For example, if it's a business program, I can't tell you that the student is going to get in on 30-point reduction or 20-point reduction. It differs from year to year, depending on how many people want to do that program, depending on how many people want to do that program, and depends how much in demand it is. So in general, 5% of program places are reserved for DARE and DCU, and that would be typical across the colleges and universities. That means I've 10 places on business, I've 1 place on sport, I have 20 places on the BEd. And obviously the more places we have, the more under the points we go. So what happens is I will get a list of all the DARE applicants who want to come to DCU, and I will have my list of places that I know that I've 9 places on business. I will look at the first DARE person under the points. So if that course is 500 in the main CAO, I look at the first DARE person on 499. If there's nobody there, I go down to 498, 497, and I work my way down under the points to fill those places. So it is a competition under the points. We do not add anything to anybody's Leaving Cert. None of the colleges do. That's one of those rumours that come around every single year. So just be aware, we do not add points to your Leaving Cert. It is a competition under the points. Some students, if they're blind or deaf or hard of hearing or sight loss or for physical disability, they will get priority above other students when it comes to those places, because those numbers are still so small within the colleges and universities. But by and large, it has very little impact on the rest of the applicants under DARE. So just bear this in mind. So if there is a particular programme that you want to study, obviously within DCU, because I do the offers, I'm able to say in a ballpark the last few years, somebody's got in on 20, 30 point reduction or 5-point reduction or 40-point reduction, but we will never be able to tell you exactly what it is until the actual offers start in August. As I said, contact the individual colleges if you're looking for more information on that. And all their contact information is available on the accesscollege.ie. Just to mention that you can apply to both the DARE and the HERE route. HERE is another admissions route, again, enables students to come in on reduced points. And this is specifically for students who come from different socioeconomic backgrounds that are typically not represented within the colleges. So if there's unemployment at home, if there's low income social welfare payments, you may be eligible to apply under HERE. There is an income threshold. But if you are a student with a disability who also falls into the HERE cash, you can apply for both. You don't get double the point reduction, but we would decide on which offer you would get within the university. It's usually the HERE offer, because there is financial support there. But you don't worry, if you're eligible to apply under both, apply for both, and then the universities will make you the most positive offer that they can offer you under that. So you can apply for both. So in relation to, that was very quick on DARE, so I have a few minutes left to talk about supports in college. But as I said, on accesscollege.ie is where you get all that information in relation to HERE and DARE. In relation to the supports in college, I'm going to talk a little bit about the overall supports available to all students within the colleges and universities. These are supports that, as I said, available to all and usually are free of charge. There is a slight charge in the health centre in DCU, and some of the other colleges may be the same. But within DCU, we have a range of supports, including we have student advisors, where students can meet a student advisor to talk about maybe their programme choice after they've come in, to talk about perhaps they're a bit concerned about some of the modules and the subjects and stuff. They can make an appointment with the student advisors. These supports are available on both the Glasnevin campus and also on the St. Patrick's campus in Drumcondra. We also have a health centre across both campuses. It's nurse-led, and there's a GP service there, as well as a mental health nurse. And they offer a range of supports and services to the students. We have a range of autism-friendly initiatives, which have included, over the last few years, several sensory pods, quiet spaces, a lot of staff training around improving the understanding of autism and how it impacts on our students. We also have counselling available to all students, and that's free, and they can make contact with the counselling service. If your young person is already linked up with a counselling service outside of the university, we would strongly recommend that they stay with that counsellor. The counselling service within DCU would offer a limited number of sessions, and usually to deal with an event or an episode that perhaps has happened to that young person. For long-term mental health support, we'd recommend that they stay with their own supports that are outside the university. We also have a career service that run workshops and offer one-to-one appointments around CV building and interview skills. We have student learning who provide supports, again, workshops and one-to-one around note-taking, writing skills, anything that they need around that academic learning piece. There's financial advice and support available through a variety of different initiatives, including the student support. I've just forgotten the name, but just there for a moment. The Student Assistance Fund, that's what it is. So the Student Assistance Fund is available to all students. Again, it's means tested, similar to Susie, but it wouldn't be as rigid. There's the Maths Learning Centre, which is based in the library and provides one-to-one and group support around maths, solving maths problems. And finally, we have chaplaincy. In relation to the supports that are available to students with disabilities, regardless of how that young person has entered the college, they can avail of support. So if they come through DARE, if they get a DARE offer, as in they come in reduced points, they can get supports. If they come in on their own points, they can get the exact same supports. If they don't come in through DARE at all, they can still get the exact same supports. Once they have evidence, and they'll meet with the disability officer, and we will talk about what supports they're going to need. So just bear that in mind, regardless of how that young person has entered any of the colleges and universities, they can avail of supports. It may be that they don't get diagnosed until they're in the university, and they can still avail of supports once they're in there. And so my final slide is about the types of disability supports that are available to students within DCU. As you can see, that there's a wide range. We have students if I start with the first row there, some students may need a personal assistant. So our students with significant physical disabilities may need support getting to and from classes and for personal care that is provided by the university. ISL is Irish Sign Language for students who are deaf and whose first language is the Irish Sign. They're provided with them to ensure that they can access their classes. We also have, for some of our students who are blind or sight loss or deaf or hard of hearing, and our students with physical disabilities, they may need a note taker or other type of academic assistance when they're in the class. And then finally, we also provide recording software, mainly to our students with specific learning difficulties such as dyslexia, but also to other students that may have concentration difficulties, for example, our students with ADHD. This allows the student to record the lecture with consent from the lecturer, and then they're able to organise. This software is an app on their phone. They can organise the recording with their notes, with the notes the lecturer has given them, and it allows them to stay on top of their work and make sure they're not missing out if they are having challenges, taking notes and listening at the same time. So that recording software, again, these are all free, available to students once they sign up with the service and we can meet with them. Exam support is that middle blue bar, and they would be, I suppose, the most significant of supports that we offer, in that the majority of our students signed up to the service, and at the moment we have 1,300 students availing of supports within DCU. The majority of those students are getting exam support. So you're looking at extra time of typically 10 minutes per hour, a smaller exam hall. Sometimes our students with anxiety or mental health difficulties might feel better in a smaller exam hall with 30 or 40 students rather than 300 students. Some of our students have physical difficulties typing, and so they can actually use a PC to type their exams. And then a significant number of our students with dyslexia would be able to have the dyslexia guidelines, which is similar to the waiver in spelling and grammar within school. And just to note, some of those dyslexia guidelines within the universities don't apply to all modules. For example, if the student is studying a language module, there may be parts of that module the dyslexia guidelines cannot apply to. We have all that information on our website, or certainly you can contact us if you have any concerns about your young person who has a language waiver thinking of studying languages within the university. And finally, our more focused supports, our one-to-one supports and our workshops. We have 2 full-time occupational therapists who work alongside the disability team and provide one-to-one support, as I said, or workshops to students with autism, ADHD, helping them keep on track, helping them ensure they meet their deadlines, and also for some of our students with autism who might need a bit of support around that social side, which they can work with those students. We have Assistant Technology Officer Trevor Boland, who works with students to provide them with that recording software or to use of that PC in the exams, and a variety of other software just to make their life a little bit easier while they're in the university. We also work with students, nursing students and our teaching students who are going out in placement, and we can discuss with them what supports might be available or what they might need while they're on placement. And then finally, we run a variety of different workshops, from technology workshops to note-taking workshops to eating, sleeping well. There's a variety of supports that are available to students. So that was a very quick presentation of all that is available in DCU for students with disabilities. Here are our contact details. We're more than happy to take a phone call if there's any questions, obviously, this evening, and I'm happy to take them as well. We also can facilitate campus visits. Sometimes our students with either physical disability, or sometimes our students with autism or anxiety, might benefit from seeing the campus before they come to the university. We're there all summer, so typically these visits happen over the summer, but they can happen at any time throughout the year. Just drop us an email or give us a call if you'd like to come out with your young person and have a look around the campus. We're more than happy to chat with you. And there is the website for the Dare and Hear information is accesscollege.ie. So thank you very much. And yeah, as Paul is saying, if there's any questions at all, I'm happy to answer them. If you don't want to put them on this form, that's absolutely fine. You can email us at those details, and we can respond to you. Thanks very much, Helen. Thank you. Okay, so thank you very much. Thanks again. And there are our contact details. Please do make contact with us.